I'm going to show you how to hang a door. The tools I'm going to need are a drill, our safety gear, a pencil, a tape measure, some hinges, some wedges, a hammer, a wrecking bar, some drill bits and some screws. I'm going to measure out a top and bottom hinge on this door. The general rule of thumb is your top hinge is about 200 mils from the top of the door and your bottom hinge is about 300 mils up from the bottom. Now I'm going to put my top hinge on. There's several different types of hinges on the market. I'm going to use an easy hinge, which is one that can be directly mounted onto the door. Before you put your hinges on, double check which way your door's swinging. On this particular hinge, we're going to screw the middle piece into the door and this larger piece into the door jamb. Now that I've got the hinges screwed onto the door, the next step is to line the hinges up on the door jamb. I just need to wedge the door up into a position that the hinges will go. The key thing is I need it a couple of millimeters short of the top jamb so that when the door shuts, it's not going to catch on the door jamb. And I also need it clear from the bottom so that when you put any flooring down like carpet or tiles, it's not going to catch. I've now got the door wedged into the right position. So what I'm going to do is screw just the very top screw on the top hinge, and that way I can still move the bottom if I need to when I get along to it. Now that I've got the first screw on the top hinge there, I can take the wedges out and then adjust the bottom hinge into the right spot. Now that I've got a screw on the top and bottom hinge, I'm just going to double check that the door shuts properly before we screw any more off. Okay, so the door's closing okay, but the gap at the bottom here and the gap at the top there are actually a little bit bigger than the other end, which will mean the bottom piece here of the jamb just needs to be pulled in. It's called easing the door, and I'll just use my wrecking bar to pull that over. I've just got one last check of the door before we put our last screws in. Yep, and that's perfect. Boom, that's how we hang a door.